I wanted to talk about something a little bit deeper than the typical topics around insomnia because this is really important for people to understand. I like my clients to be well informed about what is going on internally. Some people might glaze over, but it's really important to understand how your body works so that you can address things more specifically and be an advocate for yourself when dealing with your doctors who you are trying to get answers from regarding why you may be feeling the way that you're feeling or having the symptoms that you're having. Usually insomnia comes with sub-symptoms like anxiety and depression. And so I think that this is a very important topic for people to understand. I took some notes here so that I can give you accurate information that you can take with you when you go see your doctors and address why you're not sleeping. I think having labs drawn for checking your hormones is a really important benefit to anybody who's dealing with any kind of ailment because your hormones have to be in balance for your body to feel good and to work properly. And if you are out of balance in one area of your body, there's a more than likely chance that you are imbalanced in many other places. And so I'm going to just talk really quickly on serotonin because in the sleep realm, serotonin is one of the hormones that is the precursor for melatonin production. And so what happens is it's involved with the production of melatonin as it starts to get dark outside and when like there's low light levels around. So when you're on a medication that increases serotonin, such as SSRIs, and I think the other one is, what is it? SSRIs and SRNIs, I think is what they are. It's confusing following all of these different medications because they don't take, yeah, SSRIs and SNRIs. So what happens is if you're taking medications that increase your serotonin levels, it may indirectly affect your melatonin production. So if you are taking anxiety medications that are responsible for increasing your feel-good hormones, which are your serotonin levels, there may be a likely chance that your melatonin is being affected negatively. And that might be why your sleep-wake cycles are being disrupted. So I would have that conversation with your doctor who's prescribing you medications, voice your concern, see if there's some kind of medication you can get on that does not affect your serotonin levels to that extent. I just think it's really important to have that conversation if you're struggling with sleeping and it's really affecting your life negatively. Serotonin also affects your dopamine levels. When your serotonin is up, your dopamine is down, and vice versa. Both of them are neurotransmitters that play an important role in regulating your mood and many other functions in your body. So they interact in a very complex way. And when your serotonin's too high, it's going to affect the balance between these two neurotransmitters. But not only that, serotonin affects it's a bi-directional hormone reaction that's happening between serotonin and all of these other hormones that you probably have heard of. One always influences the other, the release of or the tamping down of one of the other. So it's really important to know what you're taking, what the side effects are, and what hormones are, like what transmitters are these working on. And that can give you a better idea of why you might be struggling with too much energy and not being able to sleep, or not enough energy and feeling like you're drunk all day long, even though you haven't touched any medication. So, or drink or whatever. So One of the other hormones that your serotonin levels affect is your cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that is released by your adrenal glands in response to stress. Serotonin modulates the release of cortisol by acting on the glands that release cortisol, which control the production of it, right? So when your serotonin levels are high, it can lead to a decrease in cortisol level, which can be a good thing because it's promoting you to be in a more relaxed state and feeling more calm. But if your serotonin levels are low, that can increase your cortisol levels and lead to stress-related disorders. And so really important to understand the level of stress in your life. If you have a lot of stress and you're looking for different ways to reduce stress, you can go to my YouTube channel and see another video that I posted recently of the top 10 stress reduction suggestions that I posted. I will add to that, massage therapy is really great, coming from an LMT of 14 years. And reflexology, going and getting your nails done, getting your hair done, getting facials, all of these things are self-care and they help to reduce stress in your life. They help you to feel like you're taking care of yourself even when everything around you is, uncontrollable. So finding ways to enjoy yourself is really important and reduce those cortisol levels. Another hormone that is affected by serotonin is oxytocin. Many of you know oxytocin as the love hormone. So what oxytocin is, it's involved in social bonding, trust, and attachment to your partner, to your baby. Serotonin can influence oxytocin release in many ways. When your serotonin levels are high, it is associated with an increased oxytocin release, which helps release the oxytocin, promoting feelings of that closeness and connection. And on the other hand, when serotonin levels are low, it can disrupt oxytocin release, which can affect social behavior and overall emotional well-being. It can affect your bond with your partner, your bond with your children. And so I think in my case, this affected me as far as postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. A lot of different things were going on after having baby after baby. And so for me, this affected me a lot. My oxytocin levels were super low. And I struggled with bonding with my family after I had my kids. So if you are somebody who has insomnia and you're taking SSRIs or SRNIs for your anxiety, depending on how those medications affect somebody as far as side effects go, when the serotonin levels drop, if you feel like you're not connecting with the people who you love, that you know in your mind you love them, but you're having a really hard time connecting with them on that bonding level, you might want to look at your serotonin levels and see how that is potentially affecting you. All right, and so I got two more for you. Growth hormones can be affected by serotonin as well. This is something that is being studied as well as the next thing I want to talk about. They don't know too much about it, it's very complex, but growth hormone is affected, the release of growth hormone is affected by your serotonin levels. And so when the serotonin levels are high, this can inhibit growth hormone release. And so they're not quite sure, but this interaction suggests that serotonin may play a role in regulation of the growth and development. So that is something to consider. I don't really know how that affects people in general, adults in general, but I can only understand or guess that it might affect children. The children have high anxiety and or they are on antidepressants. A lot of kids are on antidepressants nowadays. I'm not really sure why, but if they're on serotonin drugs that increase serotonin levels, I don't know how long-term that's going to affect their growth hormone production. And so that is something that I always think about and try to consider. Maybe it's something that is going to be studied a lot more going forward, and we'll see the impact of that later on. So if your kids are on medications where it's supposed to increase their serotonin, meaning make them in a better mood more often, I would consider the long-term damage and effects of that before I let them stay on it too long. I'm a firm believer that medications for anxiety, depression, and insomnia should only be short-term. And you should always look under the hood and make sure that everything is in working order and in balance. And then look at other reasons why you might not be doing so well emotionally, and try to fix that so that you can get off the drugs so that you don't have these long-term effects. And finally, a lot of people I know have thyroid issues, hyper, Hashimoto's. And so this is also something that is being studied. High serotonin levels have been associated with decreased thyroid hormone levels, leading to potentially hypothyroidism. So when there's low serotonin, that may be linked to increased thyroid hormone production, contributing to symptoms of hyperthyroidism. All of these hormones are interrelated. Your cortisol levels affect your thyroid. Your cortisol levels affect your pituitary and hypothalamus glands, and vice versa. It is, like I said earlier, it's bidirectional. So at any given moment, when one thing is going up, another thing is going down in order to create balance in the body. But if one thing stays up too long or down too long term, that could have detrimental effects on your health. So make sure that if you are choosing to get on medications for anxiety, depression, or insomnia that play a role in those things, trying to help those things, I would look at your hormone levels. I would request blood labs to have your hormone levels checked before agreeing to go on any medications, or I would find out what's going on internally and then make an informed decision about whether or not you're going to get off of those medications, because they are potentially causing more harm than good. They're creating the problem that they're trying to solve, which a lot of medications do. Coming from a certified holistic health coach, I think that this information is, so many people are in dire need of this information because they really don't know what's going on internally. So if you really understood this, and it gives you a clearer picture of what may be going on with you, you have questions, reach out to me. If you know somebody is going through this and you think that this information might be very helpful to them, please share with them. Please get them the information that they need so that they can understand, have an education on what's going on internally with their endocrine system, because when you don't know, you can't do anything. When you know, you can make better choices for yourself, you can advocate for yourself, and long-term, you can heal yourself. And I think that that's all I want to do, is help people heal themselves. So like, share, comment, and be well and take care of yourself.